producer. This is Dylan Hillerman. Let's hear it for Dylan, ladies and gentlemen. Dylan, thank you for being here. Let's get a roll call from everyone else that's in the house. The gentleman with the Quado doll, the double Quado doll.
Siskel and Ebert.
Wonderful. With Siskel and Ebert. I always knew they were women at heart. Tell us your name, sir. Siskel's the dead one?
I'm Chris Rhodes.
Chris Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Chris. Thank you for being here, Chris. Now, Chris, you created, or directed rather, the winning film in last year's festival.
I did.
And behind you in the middle, Richie Stratton of Open Mic Kenobi, who performed before every Tuesday night out of 10. You wrote said film. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
I'm sure we have an extra microphone for you. Yes. I think we have 5. There's got to be one.
I did write.
Oh, hey, Chris, there's actually one to your left, right on your shoulder.
Oh, okay.
No, that was not Father Green just posted there. That's a microphone. We've got enough for everybody. Richie, you wrote last year's winner.
Yes.
The beautiful one to your left, her name is?
It's Julia.
Julia, thank you for being here. Now, Julia, what do you do for the Grand Guignol Festival? Am I saying that right, by the way, Dylan?
Guignol.
Guignol, all right, I got it. It's G-U-I-G-N-O-L.
Phonetically, it looks like Guignol, French word.
Guignol, what does Guignol stand for?
It actually means puppet. The original Grand Guignol Theater in Paris, France, opened in 1897. It was a horror theater. It evolved that way over the.
Probably stands for difficult promotion. I'm sure that's what Richie was laughing at. But
Yeah, it's
right?
a Penny Dreadful. It's really good.
There you go.
It's
It is
difficult.
very dreadful.
But you guys, how many years have you done the festival for?
This is our 6th year, 6th annual.
6th year.
However, it did happen 3 years prior to my taking over it. It had a different name. It was called the 666. And I took it over because the guy who was running it before left town. And the co-owner of the bar decided that I should take it on and improve the rules. So here we are, I think 6 years later. So technically it's a 9-year show.
9 years running, and the originator of the 666 Festival would be, is that you, my dear?
No.
We had a gal that was coming up, no?
Sherry Dietrich, ladies and gentlemen.
Sherry, no, Sherry. Now, Sherry, tell me what do you do at the festival? Sherry, what do you do at the festival?
I've been involved since it was the 666, the very first year. So I started off acting, I moved up to directing, and then I was a judge for a couple years.
Wonderful. Now, the whole thing, let's talk about the whole thing. How does this festival happen? What's the cause here? People have 72 hours to film a horror short, is that correct?
Correct.
That's 71 hours, 30 minutes more prep than this show has right here on stage. Now, the winner of this year's festival gets $500 and a story in Exotic Magazine. That's pretty fantastic.
Yes.
We all know there's a lot of horror stories in Exotic Magazine.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Russian strip clubs.
Bad sex stories. I read the article.
Yeah, that's right. Now, Richie, tell us about the bad sex story article. People want to know about that.
Really?
Yes, of course. You write for Exotic Magazine.
Yeah, I do.
Bad sex stories.
Bad sex stories.
Are they all personal?
Yeah, no, they're all actual art. Well, the next month's article coming out is from the future, so I had to write about as if bad sex stories were coming from the future, and so I said there was a President Lohan, and I don't know. I tried hard to make something from the future that was cool, but I just made Spunk come in 0G. I don't know. What do you do in a bad sex story? But all my other actual
0G. That's gonna be my new bumper sticker.
Spunk in 0G.
I spunk in 0G.
I would love that.
This on your back is that a sex horror story? Is this an ex of some kind? That's a baby's mom.
No, this is great. This was in Looked After, our last film. This was the inspiration for our monster, and we drew Monster for the 72-hour GuignolFest, so like the horror fest. So we were
okay. So drawing is part of it. So because it's 72 hours to film it, and the people today was am I correct? Today was the last day to submit.
Really?
That is not correct.
No.
You can submit up until Friday when you arrive.
When are people drawing the
13 subgenres of horror.
Right, they draw 13 different groups. They draw these genres. It's all full. So the submissions are full right now. You have space.
No, just short of it. In fact, this year we have more entries than ever. We have at least 9 teams. We have 13 subgenres of horror. We're
Team
trying
Lunchbox will
to,
fight you all out.
but we were really close. We had 2 teams actually consolidate. So for a moment, I thought we had 11. I thought we're that close.
How many spots do you need to fill right now? You said you have more then?
4.
You need 4 spots to fill, and when do people draw?
They draw on Friday. This Friday.
This Friday.
Correct. At
This Friday.
Red Flag.
At Red Flag. Where's Red Flag?
Red Flag's on 28th and Flanders, Northwest.
20th and Flanders. What time are they doing?
20.
Between 8 o'clock and midnight, I will be there.
Between what time?
8 o'clock and
8 o'clock midnight. Now, how can people find out more about this? Because we can get 4 teams out of here.
Yeah.
Correct.
Those shots alone,
Please do.
Right?
If you go to, I wish I'd written this down on the sign, but GuignolFest.com, GuignolFest.com, or on Twitter, PDX GuignolFest, GUIGNOL.
It's like it's a fest.
Hey, everybody, pull your stenographer close so you can submit. They can find on our Facebook.
You can also kind of figure out the spelling if you go to Penny Dreadful, and they'll kind of like Wikipedia that, and you'll find Guignol in it.
Now the whole thing is, so people on Friday they get to pull these subgenres, meaning there's like you pull it, you go, okay, I have 72 hours to make a zombie film, a vampire film, but they go deeper. There's erotic horror.
Correct.
There's musical.
Right. Psychological.
Silent.
Guignol.
Guignol.
Yes! Sci-fi. Oh god.
Yeah,
I've been
13
killing myself
subgenres.
with these.
Okay, so we've gone over some of those. Before you're going to create some on stage tonight. We're going to try to create some tonight on stage. We're going to actually create what we've dubbed Frankenvines. 6-second horror films live on our stage.
That's
We're going to go through a bunch of the genres. But I want to talk to Chris really quickly and ask him, you directed Richie's script into being the best film last year. Tell us what that film was like. What's the plot of that film? What did you do to scare the pants off of people?
Well, we drew monsters, so we had to make a monster movie.
Right.
And, there was a monster that this girl sees. She's babysitting for a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And, it turns out in the long run that the drug she's taking is the actual monster. And she was
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So, all right, well, that connects you back to Gresham. That's just a day in the life of someone from Gresham. That's fantastic. And that won Best Original Screenplay.
Best Picture.
It won like 9 awards.
9 awards!
We got 9 awards. We got
That's fantastic!
Best picture, best actress, best cinematography, best editing, best writing, best makeup.
Scariest moment.
And Richie has
Scariest.
been, you guys connected this year. Did you work on his piece the previous year? Because what I heard was that
we've been a team.
You guys are
since we decided to make movies.
That one was called Horrorgasm.
Right,
Yeah,
Horrorgasm. Now,
Horrorgasm.
speaking of horror sex stories, Richie, tell us about Horrorgasm. Did that win Best Picture?
Well, we drew erotic.
Should have.
Erotic.
And
I thought it was the one.
I am me, and I had a co-writer and stuff like that. But we just decided, well, we drew erotic, so we're just gonna talk about genitals a lot. And basically,
That was the subgenre we drew for tonight's show.
They
Erotic, yeah.
We drew that and said, fuck, we got
Drew that.
30 minutes. We're going to create some of these Frankenvines on stage. How are we going to do that, Dylan?
Sounds good.
Let's do that.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm just going to, I was going to draw some genres, but I'm just going to do it by telling you what we're going to do.